We just had some absolutely massive news come out of the League of Legends world, specifically in the LCS, specifically even more so regarding CLOUD9. I mean, this is just a couple of minutes old at the point that I'm recording this video, so I don't want to waste too much time. I want to get right into it. I think this might be a little bit longer of a video because we have like a decent, video to react to and stuff, but CLOUD9 tweeted out. Jack had kind of been hinting at this all day today. Obviously, they left for Korea a couple days ago. CLOUD9 is going to be boot camping in Korea. They have their 10 LCS and Academy players who are going to be competing for all their spots, all of that. They've been hinting at they're going to announce their head coach soon. And now that they're over in Korea, obviously they're scrimming, they're getting ready, they're preparing. You need a head coach to do all that stuff. So they tweeted out, our new LCS head coach sat in this chair. We'll post more every 1,000 likes on this tweet. Now, I get it, farming engagement, farming interactions, whatever. I don't necessarily love posts like this. I think this is kind of stupid. I think it's kind of annoying. So you can see I didn't like it. I tweeted out, hey guys, announcement coming soon. I'm not going to like it. I don't really want to see this become the norm for announcements or whatever, but, good on CLOUD9. Hopefully they got more engagement than usual. I don't really know. But anyway, that led to this thread, rant over, where they posted this picture when they got 1,000 likes. Then they got 2,000 likes. They posted this picture. And then we have to continue with the thread. At 3,000, they posted this, and they said, can we talk about how he's the world's slowest hood taker offer, which is kind of funny. Then they posted this at 4K likes, and you can kind of start to see, we had a really funny tweet here. You can see like bangs right there, and people started to kind of know who it was at this point. This guy tweeted out, hey, Germ, is that you? Look at the hair. And I thought that was hilarious. That guy got like 10 likes on that. That's really funny. But a lot of people were starting to kind of figure out who it was. And then finally, the big reveal came at 5,000 likes. Here sits Darth LS. Now, interesting enough, I actually, heard about this story on IamGerm.net, a new website, the new esports website that's going to be covering all kinds of new stories coming up in the League of Legends and Valorant world. Kind of a big announcement. This website is something I've been working on for like the last week or a couple of weeks. It's been on my mind. I really wanted to get it up and running. I still haven't figured out everything. The website is still very bare bones. I'm still building it up, but I hope people will go and check it out. That'd be absolutely awesome. I am looking to hire people to, create content and articles and stuff. Hire people to help me, get the website set up better and better. I still don't even know how to set up AdSense or anything like that on it, but this is a new big announcement. This is kind of the biggest project I'm working on at this point. And hey, I posted an article about LS joining CLOUD9, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, that's kind of there. But as far as the announcement, here is the video that CLOUD9 actually posted about it. My initial thoughts and reactions kind of crazy. We've heard that LS has been really linked to CLOUD9. We know CLOUD9's been going after him very aggressively, throwing a lot of money and multiple different offers and stuff at his way. But I had a video prepared to talk about how LS wasn't going to be the next CLOUD9 head coach because he has vehemently denied it on stream multiple times now at this point. So again, kind of weird, kind of strange, kind of interesting. I don't know what's changed, but let's see what CLOUD9 and LS have to say about this absolutely massive announcement.
So a lot of people are probably wondering how all of this started, especially because I've turned down team offers for the last several years. And this offseason was a little bit different. People know that I was contemplating what I was going to do with LoL. I've been co-streaming now for the past 2.5 years. I've been live viewing or actually just co-streaming regions. Along came the offer from CLOUD9, and I thought if there was ever going to possibly be a chance to return to pro play in some facet coaching, this probably would have just been it, provided that a lot of the stars would end up aligning. And I thought watching Worlds this past year that LCK and LPL teams actually regressed in terms of gameplay, and I thought that it actually looked possible for Western teams to legitimately take games off or even actually upset or beat them outright. And I never ever felt that before in previous years,
So that is kind of interesting. I mean, on one hand, LS to C9 makes a ton of sense. Obviously, he brings up some great points about how the LPL and LCK, even though they've looked maybe dominant and unbeatable the last couple of years, whether it be the LCK or the LPL or both, but but this year he wasn't as impressed with them. Also, he's getting to go to a Cloud9 team that has a lot of Korean players. They have Summit, they have Berserker, they have Winsome. They also have Fudge, who LS has a very, very good relationship with. Obviously, people maybe thought that Cloud9 LS wasn't going to happen after Nemesis turned down their offer, because everyone was like, oh, that would make a ton of sense if they got Nemesis and LS at the same time. I know that some people had said they thought Nemesis, or not Nemesis, but LS wanted to stay in Korea, so he wasn't going to come over here. And yeah, obviously Cloud9's throwing a ton of money at him, so I think this does make a ton of sense. Another reason why I'm not totally shocked that this is happening, especially now, is that we've seen some clips over the past year of LS talking about how he was maybe a little bit burnt out from streaming and content creation and co-streaming and all that stuff. Not that head coaching isn't very, very stressful and very involved and very crazy, but maybe it'll just be something different for him. Maybe he's just ready for that next stage. So, in some ways, I'm surprised to see him coming to Cloud9. I'm surprised to see him coming to North America. I'm surprised to see him leaving Korea, but on the other hand, I think it makes sense in a ton of ways. The money, he has a good roster, a good team with Korean players that I'm sure he really, really likes a lot. He has people that he likes working with. But this team's going to have some challenges as well. Obviously, LS is not the most experienced head coach in the world. It's going to be a new challenge for him. He's going to have to come back over to North America. He's going to have a team of a lot of, mismatching of players. We have one single player from Cloud9 from 2021 returning to 2022 in the same position. That's Blabber in the jungle. You have a role swap to mid laner. You have a Korean top laner coming over to North America. You have a youngster import bot laner. And then you have, a position battle and support. You have a roster that doesn't speak the same language. They're going to have trouble communicating in and out of game, adjusting to the United States, adjusting to North America, adjusting to North American solo queue and ping and all this stuff. So there's just a ton of good and bad. LS is a polarizing figure. There's going to be people who are excited and not excited. This story is just so crazy because it was unexpected, and there's so many talking points and discussion points here. So this is a very, very fun story to talk about.
I feel going forward it's an actual possibility, and I feel like with the discussions that I've had with C9, I thought there was no better landing spot for me. Obviously, the conversations initially started because a lot of my close friends really wanted me to consider doing this, and namely Fudge and Max. Over the last year, I've talked with them pretty actively. I've known a lot about what's going on. I've tried to help basically anytime that I could, same way that I would for other players in the West or anyone else who would reach out to me. But this time there was a legitimate ask to have me come to Cloud9 and help out for the next year, so I gave it a lot of consideration. After thinking about what we could achieve and talking with Jack and then having a pretty heartfelt talk with Joe Marsh from T1, I made the decision to just go ahead and run with it.
That was the first time I spoke to him personally. We actually had a really nice conversation about what I was trying to build, and he had several suggestions for me on players I should go, or coaches I should actually go look into who that he thought would be good for Cloud9. The two people on the top of that list were Vigar and Max, who I ended up hiring, and we loved having as part of our team. What that taught me was that LS was actually a really good judge of the type of coaching staff that we thought was valuable, and because of that, it gave me a good feeling that if LS ever was to come and join us, he'd be a really good fit for Cloud9. Through the many different iterations of discussions, he was talking with me and Max and Fudge and Blabber, trying to figure out what we're going to do. And between Fudge, Max, Blabber, Vigar, and LS, we came up with some really good ideas on what we could do for our team. And interestingly enough, because how difficult this offseason was, we spent a lot of time changing that team, changing that configuration based on the circumstances of the hour. And hour by hour that was changing, so we got to know each other really well through that process. At the end of it, it was really becoming clear that he loved the team that we were building and he wanted to be a part of this organization.
A lot of people over the last couple of weeks have speculated that a lot of the Korean players that are coming to Cloud9 or a lot of the decisions that have been made lead to me in some way. What I can say is that even while all of these decisions were going on, I had agreed to help Cloud9 regardless of if I would end up joining or not. I thought that the players that have been picked up, Summit, Berserker, are two of the best players that could have been picked up for imports. I think that no one really knows a lot about Berserker, and I've commented on Summit elsewhere on Twitter. He's a player that I've thought very highly of for the last couple of years.
So, definitely some really, really cool stuff here. You know, Jack having very, very high praise and very, very high words for not only LS himself, but also, you know, his potential judge of character, judge of coaching staff, of overall evaluation of people that they wanted to work with. And obviously, you know, Vigar and Max Waldo and in certain ways have been very, very good for Cloud9. Now, has Cloud9 had their fair share of issues, and was 2021 a perfect year? You know, was their coaching absolutely S+ tier by any means? Like, no, absolutely not. But if Cloud9, if Jack, if everyone is happy with the kind of work that they're doing and the people that they are, and, you know, LS has recommended them, and they know LS is going to be a similar, you know, fit with all of them, LS getting to work with some of his friends like Max and Fudge, really, really cool. I think this seems like a really awesome situation all around. And no matter what, again, LS is extremely polarizing. There's people that love him. There's people that hate him. You know, me and him have had our differences in the past as well, obviously. But I'm definitely happy for him. I'm definitely excited for him. If he's going to come to NA and he's going to help us, you know, try and win, try to become great, I'm definitely going to be in support of that. I'm definitely going to be rooting for him. I want to see North America do well. And the best part is, no matter what happens, whether LS is a great coach or a terrible coach, whether Cloud9 is great or whether Cloud9 sucks, it's going to be very, very entertaining. There's going to be a ton of storylines. The stories, the content, everything is just going to write itself. And that's something that's good for me. That's good for the LCS. That's good for LOL Esports. That's good for everybody involved. It's good for Cloud9. It's good for LS, all these guys. So I really think this is going to be like a win on all the fronts. And that just has to be exciting for me, for the fans, for everyone involved. Whether you love or hate Cloud9, LS, any of these people.
The Fudge swap to mid lane was a conversation that I did have with Fudge, and I've spoken very highly of Fudge as a player fundamentally, and I just thought it doesn't matter if you're top or mid lane, you're still going to be one of the best Western players, if not the best Western player, in a very short period of time. Other stuff that's obviously going on with academies, have been very outspoken about the need to scrim against an academy team and the need to have internal scrims and internal practice. So the
totally agree with that. That's a huge
really
point.
High-level players. And
love what Cloud9's doing.
And other staff members that are being brought in are also challenger Korean level players that are also going to participate in both LCS and academy scrims to help the main team practice and just basically help get the engine running.
So what's cool about this is that for the people who watched LS or they've heard him talk about the game in ways that they feel like isn't possible to perform or isn't possible to act upon, that's what we'll do this year. So we get to platform the ideas that we've been talking about as possible. We get to platform them as possible by putting them into practice and actually using the ideas that we have against other professional teams.
I feel like going into 2022, there's a lot of expectations on this. A lot of people want to see me fail. They want to see the idea, the ideology from everything that I've talked about on coach streams, on Twitter, everywhere fail. And so I know that there's going to be a lot of eyes on Cloud9. I know there's going to be a lot of pressure on that.
So I think that's actually very, very interesting. You know, I think it's awesome that he's self-aware of knowing that, yeah, people want to see him fail. People love, even LS haters are excited he has a job so they can be like, yeah, LS sucks. I told you so. I knew he'd be a terrible coach. And because, you know, Cloud9 has a lot of haters as well. You know, there's people that want to see both Cloud9 and LS fail, and it would be awesome to see them fail together. Now, again, I'm not in that basket. I do hope the best for him. I want to see North America do well. I would love if he comes over, helps us all out. All of that's great. Again, I think he's going to be a content machine. But yes, there is going to be pressure. There is going to be expectations. He is getting a big contract. Cloud9 is a big organization. So this will be very, very interesting to see how this all goes for both him and the team and the players.
But I think that if we don't win spring, if we don't win summer, if we don't do well at Worlds, I mean, it's a failure. My idea
mindset
with the roster as it is right now is to deal damage to LPL or LCK teams. I think it's constructed in a way that has a legitimate chance to do that, and that's what the intent of the roster is there to do. I think that the players that are on the roster are capable of doing that, and I think that with the infrastructure that we've set up at Cloud9, I think that the practice environment, and I think everything that's able to be done is going to lead to the possibility to doing that. Anyways, going into 2022, welcome to the church, and masses on weekends.
All right, so you will never catch me talking about the church. You will never catch me talking about mass. I'm not going that far. Nothing like that. I think that stuff is pretty cringy and kind of embarrassing, but that's besides the point. I'm rooting for Cloud9. You know, I hope they do well. I hope them and LS together are able to do well. I actually really, really like a lot of the things that LS said in this video. I think his mindset's in the right place. That doesn't mean he's gonna be successful necessarily or even at all, but I at least like what I'm hearing on that front, so I think Cloud9 fans should be excited, and it definitely seems like the organization is. LS is now a part of Team North America. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Tell me, drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about C9LS. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, tip today, and all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.